That is, you got a special treat. You get 2 audio intros to this podcast. That was Colin playing dueling banjos.
Yep, on a child-size upside-down guitar.
Left-handed, right-handed. This is Ben.
And Colin.
And you are listening to the Blackjack Apprenticeship podcast. We are recording live
under the feet of the Utah mountain ranges.
In St. George, Utah. 1 hour and 45-minute drive from Las Vegas. And this particular podcast, we're going to be focusing on talking about the Blackjack Ball.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is going to be a 20-minute podcast. I'm saying that to myself. This is going to be a 20-minute podcast.
Yeah.
I will not ramble. And the Blackjack Ball, just so you know, is the premier blackjack card counter event of the year.
Yeah.
And I also think that it is the blackjack event of the year. Like, the only event.
There aren't a lot of them. How do we even get invited?
Someone said that I sent some email to Max Rubin or some conversation or something. But we went for the first time 5 years ago or 4 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago.
And this is only my second time going. And we just went, this was, last weekend?
Yeah.
We went right after Bootcamp. It's supposed to start at 5 p.m. We showed up around 6. And I remember the first time I got an invitation to the Blackjack Ball, I could not believe it. Because we had read about these things, especially in Arnold Snyder's Blackjack Forum magazine. I think that's where I'd heard about this. And it just seemed like this event of mythical proportions. Yeah. And here we are going to it. So the first time I went, I couldn't really enjoy it because I was so blown away by everything. But this last time, I found myself enjoying it.
This is my fourth. This was my fourth one, and feel a bit more comfortable being there. But this one was a lot of fun. It was nice having you join us again.
Thank you. It was good to be there.
It was also really fun because we were actually offered a couple extra spots to bring some other guys.
Yeah, so Max did us a solid the day of. He tells us some people got sick or canceled, and he asked us if there's anyone else we want to bring.
I think I had bugged him already and said, hey, is there a couple extra spots? Because there's some guys that have come through our site that are now, I feel like, deserve to be there.
So we've taken guests in the past, and Loud and Often. Do we say his real name nowadays or not?
I don't know.
We won't know.
He was Loudon.
He's been almost every one too, right?
Yeah, he comes with me every time.
So he was there with us.
And he's well known because he's a sharply dressed man.
Yes.
People remember his outfits, and he deserves to be there because he's won large amounts of money by destroying casinos at blackjack.
And he speaks at our boot camps, especially our advanced boot camp. So he was already in Vegas. And then there was 2 other guys that had never been, and I could tell that this was kind of blowing their minds too. It was like when I went for the first time.
Bubble Tea came.
And
JC Note.
And that was great to have so many people because I felt like we could be like a tour guide.
Yeah.
We could say, oh, this is where you hand your premium champagne.
Yeah.
And by the way, the entrance to the Blackjack Ball, if you have not gone, is 1 bottle of premium champagne. Mm-hmm. And they never define premium.
No.
And for us card counters, you got to be careful because if we define premium...
Well, because we don't even know champagne.
Yeah,
I don't know champagne.
I did have a glass that night, though. And I actually think that the last time I drank champagne was probably at the Blackjack Ball 4 years before.
Yeah.
That was the last time. And so let's talk about a few things. One is there's these tables, and we counted about, it's tables of 8, I think, and there's probably about 12 of these. So there's about 100 people. It might be a little bit more, I think. And so at our table is me, Colin,
Mr.
Loud and Often, Bubble Tea, and JC Now. Bubble Tea is not his real name, by the way. And not only is it not his real name, it's not even his real blackjack name. We're just using it because we want to. Because he had Bubble Tea with us. And guess who else is at our table? Well, I don't. I'm speaking out to you, podcast world, because Colin knows.
Can you guess?
Freaking Ed Thorpe.
Ed who?
Sorry. Let me use his first name. Doctor.
It's not freaking Ed Thorpe.
Dr. Ed Thorpe. The guy who basically invented the game of blackjack.
Oh, card counting. Blackjack.
He invented the casino. He invented money as we know it.
And capitalism.
And capitalism. This is the guy that wrote the book.
Beat the Dealer. I have a signed copy. I had him sign a copy of Beat the Dealer for me.
So this is like old hat hanging out with Ed Thorpe.
So
for you.
if you've ever heard of card counting, you out there listening, he invented it. He wrote a book in 1962 called Beat the Dealer, and it took the world by storm. This is actually true, that blackjack was not the most popular casino game. Craps was much more popular, especially among the men would throw dice, and some of the ladies would play this card game called blackjack.
A softer, easier, gentler game.
Yeah.
Of blackjack.
And probably the average player gave the casino a 3 or 4 or 5% edge because there wasn't even basic strategy. But some hotshots came up with basic strategy using these numerating devices called computers that could compute for them. And then
they did these computers. They did computations.
Yeah, and then this PhD from MIT named Ed Thorpe said, "Hey, I wonder what would happen if you removed a 2 from the deck." And so he used one of these computation devices and ran a whole bunch of simulations. And it made the casino edge even greater. No, I'm sorry, the other way. Took an ace out, made the casino's edge even greater. So he said, "Well, what's the opposite of an ace, which is an 11?" Is a 2. He took that out, and all of a sudden the player had the edge, so he refined his system.
And you can find all this out on Wikipedia.
Long story short, we got to sit with the legend.
And we gave him a copy of Holy Rollers.
Which he calls us. When the last 2 years I've gone, this year and then a couple of years ago, he said, "Hey, Holy Rollers."
But now, we gave him his very own copy of Holy Rollers, the true story of card counting Christians, a documentary chronicling mostly chronicling the church team and starring Colin and I, and the cool thing about him is he could take the documentary home and autograph it himself, knowing that he invented card counting, and it would probably be worth something.
Yeah.
So we gave him a copy, and we got a picture of him with the copy, which was kind of fun.
Yeah. And he told a great story, not to us, but there was another guy, Blair, and I don't know the conversation they're having, but I heard Dr. Ed Thorpe say, "Let me tell you a story," and my ears perked up, and it was a great story about contentment and about the pursuit of things beyond money.
And he was talking about the new book that he's writing about it's basically a life memoir about beating the game of blackjack mathematically and also beating the stock market mathematically. And we said, "Hey, Ed, Dr. Ed, if we can help promote that or do an interview, we'd love to." And he got our card, so we'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah, I asked if he would do an interview before, and he said no.
Well, but we're making progress. A few other things, though, we want to talk about are, one, congratulations to Don Schlesinger, who was inducted into the Blackjack Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
As a result of the voting that took place by the advantage players at the Blackjack Ball. So how it works is everyone gets a ballot, you vote for 2 people, and this year's had an interesting list of names. I didn't recognize all the names. I did recognize Bill Benter, Don Johnson, Don Schlesinger. Ooh, that was 2.
I hope Bill Benter
Dons.
makes it. When I first started voting, I voted for Ian Anderson every year until he made it, and now I believe Bill Benter deserves.
Yeah, I agree. I voted for Bill.
But so does Don Schlesinger.
And we both read Don's books,
Yeah.
Specifically Blackjack Attack, and he's posted a lot on other sites. And really, as I was thinking about it, I was like, I think he really does deserve to win because he's really poured his heart out into training people. He trained us, in a way, through his books, which is something that's near and dear to Colin and I's heart. So congratulations to him.
Absolutely.
And the next thing that I want to share, this was just a fun story. everyone. I contacted Max Rubin like the day before, and he allowed us to make this special announcement. So I get up in front of all of these people who are our heroes at one time and still are in a lot of ways. Well, first of all, let's spend a minute and just talk about who is there. Okay,
sure.
So Stanford Wong is there.
Yep.
Anthony Curtis is there.
Richard Munchkin.
Richard Munchkin is there, and this is not a complete list of names, by the way. Arnold Snyder is there.
The Bishop.
Blackwood. Kevin Blackwood is there. Rick, the Night Train Blaine, was there. He just was walking around with a name tag that said Rick. And then finally I realized, oh, you're Night Train. I used to read books from him like back in the day. You have almost, not all of the MIT guys, but you have a good group of the MIT guys, Micah Ponte and
Andy Block.
And
a whole bunch of other people that probably would be upset if we said their names.
Yeah, so we won't say their names. They don't even exist. And Colin
Silhouettes.
I don't even know them. And so, anyways, there's a good group of people here. So I get to go speak in front of these people. And what we said was that 14 years ago when we got into card counting, almost 15 years ago, Colin and we read books and articles written by the people in that room and about the people in that room. And these are guys that played with Ken Houston, the guys that... there's another guy, Al Francisco, that invented ace sequencing and just crazy stuff.
And team play.
And big player stuff. So I used to read about these guys, and now I'm in a room with them, and we wanted to just say thank you for what they've done, because we feel like we've done something pretty cool too, which is take what we've learned from those guys and from our years running a team, and we made it accessible to you guys that like podcasts and you guys like iPhone apps and video courses online, which is not something the older generation was really that familiar with. So Colin and I have an edge that way. And so we gave them all a free annual membership.
That's right.
To blackjackapprenticeship.com for a year. And so if you didn't get one of those cards and you were at the ball, you can contact Colin or I directly, and we'll get in touch with you. But we hope to do this as an ongoing thing, as a way just to say thank you and honor the people that have really influenced us and really made the site what it is. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them, and we feel like it's kind of the least we could do to give back. So we and it helped promote the site, because a lot of them don't know about it, and a lot of them do know about it. But so it was cool that way. It was like we were a sponsor almost. But we said thank you, and we brought a whole crap ton of Holy Rollers DVDs that we gave out for free.
Just put them out, said take one.
Yep.
It was fun.
But some of them might have taken two if they were typical Advantage. I had a joke, too, that I never quite got
what you're up to.
I had a joke that I never got able to pull off because I got nervous, and Max Rubin started rushing the microphone. I was like, oh, crap, is my time up? And this was going to be the joke. We were passing out these cards, and it said good for one for a year, and it had the little coupon code on there. And I said, but there's only one per person. I don't want you guys to copy these because I know how you are with match plays and coupons, which I thought would have been kind of funny. So there's the joke.
Would have gotten some chuckles.
If they would have heard it. The final thing I'd like to say is, one thing that was really cool was we ran into a few Blackjack Bootcamp and BJA members at the ball that I didn't even know were still active in the game or had really taken things to the next level.
No, that was a really fun surprise. Some guys that had been through boot camp a few years ago, and last I heard they were playing, but here they are getting invited to the Blackjack Ball, which makes me think, why wasn't I bugging Max Rubin sooner? But, oh well, we're in now. But to find out that these guys are still making a living, doing really well, enjoying it, and now showing up at the Blackjack Ball.
Well, and that they, their first introduction to Blackjack was from our website.
Yeah.
That's crazy because it just doesn't feel like that important in a way.
When I met Stanford Wong, I told him, hey, you're the reason why I've basically been an entrepreneur the rest of my life. I met you, or I didn't meet him initially. I read his books, you and I read his books, and taught ourselves card counting, and it changed our lives. And so it was really fun for me to tell him that. And then a guy comes up to us and says, hey, basically the same thing.
You're his Stanford Wong.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was really cool. So, so a few other things happened. One is, so we had dinner, which was comped by Barona Casino.
Yep.
Which it's kind of a weird comp because, some people. It's a funny joke that when you go to the Blackjack Ball, in a way, you're agreeing not to play blackjack at Barona anymore. So it's not like a free and clear comp, like here's a meal. But all in all, I actually feel okay about it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm not going to Barona anyways. So,
well, I want to get into the Blackjack Hall of Fame and then visit it and take a picture.
That would be cool.
But I'm not saying I deserve to be there because I don't. But yet.
Maybe someday.
And then I'll visit Barona.
And so you can't go to Barona. So they have kind of a nice meal that Max puts on, and then they have this contest. What do they call that thing?
The Calcutta Cup.
Calcutta Cup. I don't know what it means. It seems to be a really big deal. There's a lot of tradition around it, and there's a lot of betting, and then a lot of random.
There's a 21 question quiz. The top 5 people, the 5 people who got the most right, which I think probably the average of people that made it to the final table was 12. That they got 12 or 13 right. So that means 5 out of 100 were able to get 12 right.
It was 10.
Yeah,
but by the end, if you got 10 right out of 20 questions, and this is true and false, by the way.
Some of them are true and
false.
So
you're just guessing, and the rest, most of them are multiple choice. And this, I think it's just the stupidest test ever.
Well, for those who don't feel like it's the stupidest test, or those who are interested, I think Richard Munchkin puts it on his blog every year. He'll put He'll put it up there, so you can check it out, and maybe you guys know the answers.
I still think it's the stupidest test ever. It doesn't make any sense to me. It feels completely random, and I think that there's no skill involved. But
no, that's not true.
Hang on, but the same people win it every year, which means that there must be skill involved.
Yep,
or of some sort, because to me, when I see this, and how a lot of people feel when they see it, it just feels completely random. It's I can't even explain a question to you, but maybe we'll try and put a link to Richard Munchkin's blog or previous test.
It's true. There clearly are people that have the advantage at it. We clearly do not. I've gotten close.
I'm just going to say it's stupid.
Loud and Often has been in the running for the 5th spot. So has another of our team. But one of these days, I want to make it to the final table. So then 5 people do even more ridiculous things. I've seen Wii boxing. Yeah. I've seen arm wrestling.
Really?
Yep. And then they'll do something like hand you a deck of cards and fan it out, and you have to memorize the sequence of cards. Whoever can memorize, you have 10 seconds to look at it. And so someone's like, Ace of Hearts, 7 of Spades, 2 of Diamonds, and...
But then the highlight of the night, I don't think is that for me. The highlight of the night is going to Max Rubin's house afterwards.
Yeah, that is.
And first of all, it's just in a house, which is cool. We at Blackjack Apprenticeship prefer houses over casinos or country clubs.
Yeah.
And there's this whole spread of food that's the type of food that your mom would make at Christmas, minus Christmas cookies. There's those little wieners wrapped in croissant stuff. Yeah, that you dip in mustard.
I think it's called Pigs in a Blanket.
Pigs in a Blanket. There was just bacon salami stuff that was just
They had some Jimmy Walker.
They just tossed it in the oven.
Black.
Okay, so they had some alcohol. They had some bottled water, which I helped myself to.
Yeah.
They had a crap ton of Barona chocolates all over the place that I helped myself to, and I brought to the next day Bootcamp.
And they have about 40, 50 people hanging out who have all made large amounts of money, and quite a few who are still making large amounts of money beating casinos. So it's fun to cool. Share some stories, to meet some people.
And can I say this? My first year was kind of scary showing up, especially because the documentary had not come out.
And we were actively running a team.
Yeah.
And they're asking, your team needs a name. We're like, no, we don't want our team to have a name.
Well, and no one knew about our team. Well, a few people did, but not many people did.
The Washington Count team.
Well, and we didn't have the website either.
Yeah, we did.
Did we? The first year?
We did.
Well, it wasn't popular.
No.
People didn't know who we were. So we're just kind of like another fly on the wall.
Yeah.
But you gotta, this is my encouragement to you. If you ever go to a blackjack ball for the first time, you gotta just dive in there. You gotta go around, shake people's hands, say, this is what I do, this is what I'm interested in, and I am really excited about what you're doing. Just get in the conversations. It's worthwhile. You'll thank yourself later. By the time you come to the second, third, fourth year, it pays off.
You know what? I would say it's kind of like when you're feeling heat at a casino that's out in the middle of nowhere that you never know you're going to come back to. You don't want to leave it regretting.
No.
So I would say to you, if you ever make it, don't leave regretting missing out on a conversation. Have that conversation. Yeah. And some people are a little standoffish, but a lot of people are incredibly friendly.
Conversation I regret not having this year was Stanford Wong. It was the first time I saw him, and I saw him at the Lions Buffet, but I didn't go because I already had food, but I should have just gone. And then he left early, so I didn't get a chance to talk to him. So Stanford Wong, if you're out there, I regret not saying hi to you, and I will say hi to you next year, because it was the first time I've actually ever seen you in real life. What else is there to say? We're really thankful to Max for putting this on. I know we have a Max Rubin podcast, but I want to have another Max Rubin podcast where we talk just about the Blackjack Ball and why he did it. Because it's really interesting that he does this. And I actually don't know why he does it. I mean, I kind of know why he does it, but I don't really know why he does it. But it's really unique and it's really special. And I know it makes a lot of people's day/year.
Yeah.
So thank you, Max, for inviting us, allowing us to speak.
Yeah.
Inviting us into your home, introducing us to your wife.
It really is an honor.
It is cool. And we hope to come back next year.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll have a boot camp the same weekend again, but that'll be a crazy weekend. So that's it. We're going to be writing up a full ball recap on our website, so you can check that out at blackjackapprenticeship.com. We'll put the link on our website below the podcast once we get that up, and maybe it'll even be up by the time this is recorded. But
I think it is.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, that's it. It was a lot of fun, and hopefully, we will get more opportunities to interview some of these people that we've been able to meet at the Blackjack Ball. That's always really cool. We've been able to interview Tommy Hyland, Richard Munchkin, Max Rubin, Kevin Blackwood. So hopefully, over the next several months, we can interview some more of these awesome
I forgot to mention this fun fact that one of the things, the thing that makes the Blackjack Ball great, and this is your line, Colin, I'm stealing your thunder. But
that's cool. Steal it.
Is it's one of the few places you can show up where people will be dressed up wearing a tuxedo and sweatpants.
That's right.
And it's not weird. That's what's weird. Any other place, you would see the dude in sweatpants, and everyone would be like, OMG, can you believe that guy had the audacity to show up in sweatpants? But in a way, if you show up in the Blackjack Ball wearing sweatpants,
more power to you.
You got respect, because there's just this idea that, you know what, no one's playing. I know we're not allowed to swear here, so I want to be careful. Or maybe we are, but
yeah, I think it's explicit on iTunes.
Okay, good. Well, no, these guys, they're overplaying the fucking game. They're just like, I'm just here. I money isn't a thing.
Yep.
Like, that's not how we keep score, and they can just live their life. And I was like, man, that's cool, because every other place, you show up and you're flashing your brand name, whatever, driving up in your brand name, whatever, and kind of pretending like you've played the game of life however way you've played it that's more successful than other people. And these guys, it's a different economy, and I like it.
And it's as fun, the person that shows up in a tuxedo, because they're bringing the fanciness to the ball.
Yeah, and they're like, screw you guys and your sweatpants. I care about... it's fun. It brings a little bit of honor and dignity and respect. It makes us remember that we're still humans. We're not just card counters, too.
That's right.
So anyways, thank you to those who wear tuxedos and sweatpants to the Blackjack Ball.
Yeah, hopefully next year someone will wear a tuxedo coat and sweatpants.
That could be us. But anyways, this is Ben.
And Colin.
And we are from blackjackapprenticeship.com. You can check out more things there. There's blog posts and more podcasts and charts and video courses.
I'm going to give one more shout out. I just want to thank the people at the Blackjack Ball that have invited us in or have had conversations with us, because it's really been an incredible amount of fun, and it's been fun to feel like we can give back, but also to receive from others. So thank you.
And let us know if you're from the Blackjack Ball, if you need to get your free membership, email us, or if you want to be featured on one of our podcasts, we'd love to have you.
Oh, absolutely.
You know who you are. Thank you. Have a good one. We'll catch you next time.